A lot of skirmishing and most importantly 5v5 power. But I'm looking at the sandbox draft and you have a ton of prio on bot side. You have a surefire win condition in the Kassadin. And the only weak point I do think is the very early levels, right? As soon as Wheeler is actually able to hit level 6 on the Nocturne, you can both hover towards bot. Bro do have a lot of catch and punish potential though, and historically they have been pretty good with those type of comms, but a lot of pressure on Umti. So if Sandbox can track Umti, make sure that their bot lane is safe while shoving, and Closer can get to 6 safely, I do think Sandbox definitely a very strong draft here.
Absolutely. No Caitlyn picked up this entire time. Of course, the first pick, Varus, meant that it's not likely that Effort was going to go down the carrier route and head towards support. Caitlyn, there'd be just 4 AD carries in that lane. That would just be really crazy. I'm glad that we're stepping away from that as Edgar and Ryu going to bow to one another, make their way off the stage. These drafts worry me a little bit on the bro side, not going to lie to you. We've seen Nautilus is picked, and Lahen's no slouch at the League of Legends. However, struggled immensely on the Nautilus to make things happen. His Leona worked out, but the Naut didn't quite find it, and against this lane, I just don't see any agency for the Nautilus.
I would imagine that post-6 they're going to look really, really heavily for all-ins. You do have an opportunity to take down the Ashe, you know, just go for a Nautilus ultimate. If she oversteps, then you can just change CC and take her down, but I don't love trying to go for a post-6 kill lane when you're playing into a lane that is probably going to hit level 6 first, and it has a Nocturne, because from that point on, if you do go in for the all-in, Nocturne ganks you, and you don't have Umti there as well, you're going to be into deep trouble. So also a lot of pressure here on Karis, who we haven't really talked about yet, on this rise to actually have an impact in this game.
Exactly right. Let's hop on the Rift here for game number 1. Live Sandbox fans, some of them even more passionate than the rest, as we could hear just there. Bit of a trail on, bit of a competition to see who could continue talking for the longest, or cheering for the longest. And here we are. Bro, gonna need a bit of help, you could imagine, towards this bottom side. As Effort is gonna come down, spots this ward out. We'll be able to remove it.
I really like the choice from Anna to go for lethal tempo. I am a firm believer in going for the on-hit Varus when you do have the opportunity, when you're playing with a decent front line, which very clearly that is here. The downside is that I don't know how many autos you're actually, like how much freedom you're actually going to get in terms of autoing against Kassadin in particular. Kassadin and Nocturne is a really strong dive core. Brodo, if he can find a flank, can join them very easily as well. And the lack of a cleanse into a Ashe specifically always makes me a little bit worried, because post-6, there is no cooldown on Ashe ulti. That's actually a lie told to you by Ashe mains that want their champion nerfed. And that want to maintain credit for firing off great arrows. But the secret is you just keep firing them. Yeah. As unexpectedly, Envy and Cal have priority level 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary. Well, we'll see whether that's going to continue. As we can see, no minions lost here for Henna and Effort. They should be able to lock these up. I'm going to miss out on one of them, is Henna. A little bit unfortunate last hit timing. But not too much to worry about, as long as this wave stays very close to their turret, they're going to be pretty happy. As Effort is going to have to dredge line his way out of this. Kael happy to walk into this brush, though, as Envy and Henna are fighting, and Live Sandbox winning on both fronts.
Yeah, so the problem is that you can't really all-in, obviously, in that scenario as Effort, because Henna is getting shoved in and zoned by the wave. And level 1 Ashe is so incredibly strong. You see there, you get the Halo Blades, you get the Q, and then you're able to proc cheap shot very easily, and then Effort just kind of has to take damage and be very, very sad.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. Yeah.
Don't get that much done. So this is obviously not the end of the world. This is how the matchup is expected to go. my main issue with this is that as long as the vision control is good and we do see the pings going down, they should be aware that Umti on its full clear is currently around the bottom half of the map. They are going to buy a lot of space for Closer to just free farm, right? There's no opportunity as all Closer.
Yeah, Karis doing pretty well here. Land some more Flux, but Closer able to sidestep the Q. And this is not how this particular matchup went as the game continued to progress in our previous series. We'll see how Karis is going to handle the Kassadin as that level 6 becomes ever closer. Umti's going to move on down. Kyle kind of caught out of position here by Ash's Freljordian sister. Willa looking for Karis as well. Duskbringer working out, giving him that extra movement speed, but looks like the Rise is going to be able to safely go home.
And backs coming through here in general. Do see that both junglers now making their way back. Both mid laners teleporting on effectively the exact same timer. A little bit of a CS lead here as Kyle with that early move and getting tagged by Umti is going to miss out on a fair amount of experience here. So that is going to delay the Ashe level 6. And this might be the moment that as Henna and Effort, you're going to be looking to kind of exploit as we get later into the game. Because again, if you can hit level 6 first and Kyle specifically doesn't respect, you might be in trouble. For Envy, it's a lot easier because he has a spell shield. So your options are a little bit less obvious for Effort. But the Ashe can be in a bit of trouble there. So Willer might be wanting to look out for that timing. And Closer, as expected, you know, having a bit of a rough time, but if you go a wave down on a rise, doesn't really matter.
No, in fact, Closer's having a pretty good time right now. Has his spellbook unsealed as well, still retains his flash. Ooh. As Henna and Effort do have some cavalry on their way down. Karis on the level 5, no realm warps to speak of just yet, but getting closer and closer to that point.
Oh, like this. Setting up a trap here. Trying to invade Wheeler, he might know.
Oh dear, Arctic Assault going to come in. The Rune Prison goes down, but he's not quite able to spell shield too much. The Duskbringer to get a bit of damage tagged back, but this is great, because if they block Willa from being able to enter the bottom side of the map, it means that Henna and Effort might stand some semblance of a chance.
Yeah, as the narrator said, he did in fact not know. Forced a flash, unfortunately there for Willer. And now, fortunately for Envy and KL, Wave actually not in the worst of states, is going to be pushing back towards them. So as long as they play safe, they should be fine here. But is going to delay Wheeler a little bit. He went toward the top side of the map and is able to pick up his Rugs camp there. Picks himself a Lucidity boost as well, which is quite nice on Nocturne. If you get them just before you think 6, means that you will have the ability haste on your first ultimate. And first ultimate, always a very important one on these type of semi-global champions. Really need to try and get something going early as Drake is being started up here. You can contest here, but I don't think you should. And Sandbox seems to feel the same way as goes over to Bro.
Yep. Well, not quite at level 6 yet. No. And even if he did have it, I just don't think that they're in a position where they're powerful enough to make that one happen. As Rune Prison once again onto Closer here, who does have Riftwalk, so it's not like he's going to be dying anytime soon, but the way the wave has been handled, Karis is doing a pretty good job. As we check into the Lord towards this top side, Morgan having a pretty good time into Birdle right now. Top lane relevance, we're feeling it's about the same as it has been so far this season, which is not very relevant at all at this stage of the game.
No, I don't see that changing anytime soon. As long as Drake stay as good as they are, as long as the power of plates remains in place, we won't see any considerable changes. As Willer now has dinged 6, does mean that he himself will be ready. Same for Henna though, and as we can see, Effort still was an experienced leader on KL, so not going to be able to fight for priority at any time soon. Is the Live Sandbox bot lane. We're really going to have to respect. Be careful not to walk into an all-in, because that is the main way, especially with Willer on the top side of the map.
Whoa!
That they lose as...
That was a big boop of damage. That Sheen proc from Morgan. The Lord just does more damage, does he not?
I don't think that's fair.
No, I don't think so either. However, he does have access to the code because he is omnipotent. And he will join Umpty in taking on Shelly, who does not stand a chance. Into Morgan, as we all know. The Sandbox, though, given an opportunity to get a bit of damage down to this outer turret on the bottom side, so we'll see how many plates they can actually collect for themselves. And Closer and Willa looking for their opportunity to come down as well. Effort unseen, but there's vision everywhere. And so Bro should be able to avoid dying, although not able to save their plates right now.
See some pings going down, but not really a cross-map available here. Bro bot lane playing safe enough that they are still completely fine. And it's important to mention as well that we talk a lot about this Nocturne and him looking for a level 6 setup. His setup isn't that great. Once Gal at 6, it gets a little better, but you do somewhat rely on Hannah and effort going in deep. You have a Cassidy in mid, so you're not going to rely on a lot of help there. And then Cassante, in terms of setup, is pretty good, but you're playing into Jax with Flash. So Wheeler, right now, really is just on guard duty. So he's just hanging out, trying to track Umpty. I think his main goal in this game should be just making sure that his bot lane and his mid lane are fine. If top falls behind, you know.
Yeah.
Who cares? We don't. The top laners don't, as we've seen in the past. And as long as Closer just farm up, get more levels, Envy can maybe hit that coal spike and get into a more comfortable position as the Sivir. That's what you're going to be looking for. As
all right, Willa going to head towards his Rift Scuttler. Should be able to take that one down. Kyle just helping him out there. Very comfortably. Realm Warp in hand here for Karis, which is like a much bigger Rift Warp that you can only use once. Death Charge coming in. Gets the flash out from Envy. Umpty celebrates with an ultimate. I'm not sure what that was about. Didn't quite find the mark, though, as the Realm Warp was not taken there by Karis.
good choice. Flash now down here for Envy, and does mean that a follow-up play, perhaps around Umpty going bot side again, hook from effort or Hannah hitting an ultimate, will have a lot more impact. But it's also not the end of the world. I do firmly believe that even though the Breon 1v1 in top side is going to be favorable for them, and they still have a pretty decent front line, very solid 5v5, like front to back type of comp. You're playing into Sivir and Kassadin, so I just don't... You can take that risk, and it's pro, so they will take that risk. But I don't love it.
Yeah.
Personally, I would much rather try and see a little bit more proactiveness, but the vision control on bot side also makes this harder. There is not a lot of playmaking potential when everyone knows everything. Oh, look at that. Observers and me.
Yeah.
Have the same mind.
Jonah Strong synergizing with Chronicle beautifully. As Closer, like, this is the thing that's a bit strange about this game, right? It feels like a full handshake. And on the top side of the map, Morgan, very happy about the handshake. He's like, ooh, I'm going to get into split push monster territory. But then there's a Kassadin in the game, bro. Like, Breon, you need to...
Come on, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro. It's...
Come on, bro.
You gotta, I think, do a little bit more stuff and things.
Well, they have really good pick potential, so no matter what point in the game you get, if someone oversteps, you can win and very easily blow someone up. If Sandbox misposition, walk into a couple of big AoE team ultimates, then you can also get taken down very easily. But they also have great non-committal CC. And I do think overall we have seen that in these type of kind of slower stalemate games, Ashe support is so strong because you can just fire off arrows.
Well, Umpty may suffer at the hands of one of those, as Morgan is counter-striking a wave. Chains of Corruption comes in there as the arrow is going to be flashed. Umpty able to turn that into farming some camps, which is fun, as Will is going to have to run away from that one. Depth Charge comes in. Great piercing arrow there as well. But it's all just disengage on the side of Bro. Means that this Rift Scuttler is going to be taken by Live Sandbox, and they have no interest in the Drake whatsoever.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting them to maybe do something as the Herald chimes out and it's just thrown down in mid. And in case you were watching the first series that we had today, you might be thinking that is peak LCK, but I'm here to tell you it's not.
Oh no.
This is peak LCK.
Indeed.
What we're witnessing right here.
Yeah. That thing that you were talking about something happening, that happened way too much in our previous series. We need to go back down to reality.
I want to check. I think Willow got hooked out of his ultimate, would actually might just be an auto attack, so I kind of want to check. As arrow doesn't hit, let's look here. Okay, no, I just went in on Hannah. I was about to say, I'm not 100% sure that you actually can take the Nocturne out of it. So, and regardless, didn't happen there. Willow just goes in, flashes out, and then does nothing.
As the dust settles, however,
Yeah.
there is a slight gold advantage for Live Sandbox.
Yeah, I don't think the gold's going to be...
I got to talk about something, Chronicle, okay?
Well, we have not had any shenanigans happens in Termcast all day. All day.
True.
We had to talk about the actual video game, and right now we're watching one team say, oh, we have Cassidy and Sivir. We skill. Let's wait. And the other team saying, oh, we have Jax and Ryze. We skill. Let's wait. And it's not stopping anytime soon.
No.
It's not happening.
Scaling and waiting does seem to be continuing.
It is Brion. Of course it's continuing.
Indeed.
So, in all their generosity, they've given us the opportunity to talk about other stuff.
Maybe I could talk about that
What?
story that I never got to finish during the first series. It's feeling a little less relevant now, though.
You want to talk about D+/Damwon Kia's history?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think.
I just never got to finish the
Well,
story.
no, I know. I know it's a great story. I know you have a lot of strong opinions about it, but I feel like we need to
I lost my
find a different
moment.
direction, Atlas.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. Well, the direction is towards a handshake, surprisingly enough. We have the Drake being taken by Bro. They're very happy to do so. Singular
It's who love
Hextech Drake,
handshakes.
actually pretty powerful, as it's going to be a Mountain Soul this game as well, as Morgan might hit Bertle with an auto attack or two. Doesn't lose his turret. And the Herald is going to be taken here by Willa. So Bertle might be able to help break down this turret. First brick certainly will be a great thing for either team.
They might want to use it on mid to actually gain a semblance of map control. Also big back here. Willow picking up his stride breaker. And the pace of the game continues. Atlas has everyone getting his one item spot. They perfectly synced up as well. This is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Do note, by the way, that there is a Mountain Rift, which for both teams is great. I don't know. I feel like I should talk about the game, but the game's not giving me a lot.
No. Closer is farming the minion wave. As a result, he is now...
Nature documentary time, is that what we're going?
Yeah, I think so. He is now almost a wave ahead of Ryze. Effort will move relatively slowly across the mid lane and then proceed towards the lower side of the map.
Okay, it's nature documentary. We're not trying to make people fall asleep here, Atlas.
No, that's what it's about, because sometimes you don't necessarily need to watch for all the excitement, and honestly, the more dignified and elegant League of Legends is far slower.
This is a very elegant form of League of Legends.
No, it absolutely is.
Because it eschews violence.
No,
we don't do that here.
No, that's not what we're about. This is more like chess, you know? And yes, pieces do take one another in chess, but they also spend a lot of time just moving around.
I wonder how long you can play a chess match before being forced. Like, I guess you can just indefinitely play, right? And never be forced to take any piece of your opponent.
I think theoretically you could just move a bishop backwards and forwards.
Yeah, okay, but say you can't repeat moves, right? Because obviously, otherwise you can keep moving the same piece and doesn't really do it for me.
You move one bishop forward and then the other bishop forward and then the next bishop backward and then the other bishop backward and then keep cycling across.
It was more exciting in my head. I think this game is kind of messing with my my ability to judge whether or not a topic is interesting.
If your comprehension of reality has been challenged...
Hey, he hit an arrow! He got him! Good job, Kyle. Look at the cooldown.
What did the arrow hit?
Hannah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Missed that one, did ya?
Yeah, I did. I missed that one. I also missed
oh yeah, we got
anything
we
that
could have had
resulted.
first break, but instead we got a charge on mid.
Hey, we also might have first brick, as Karis is going to move down and deny it, so never mind. First brick? No. That's not what we're about here.
let's take a look. What was our latest first blood again?
This is actually PvE League of Legends. The only things that have died are neutral objectives and minions and jungle camps. Only the environment has been attacked, and even the structures are not being attacked. Well, they're being attacked, but they're not actually down.
Well, they're being told to please go down, turret. I ask of thee, and the turret's like, no. So they, okay, that's cool, bro. Well, yeah. I'll just back off. No problem. Who is going to die first in this game? And how? Maybe we make it a reverse murder mystery.
I'm still, I think in bro games we often bring up this stat, which is the lowest amount of kills in an LCK game is 3. We often think that it's going to be challenge. And so far it is. We've made it to 19 minutes without a first blood. I believe our longest first blood this year is not 19 minutes. I think we may have got there.
For this year it is, but I'm talking... Because I know it was last year was Bro versus...
Damwon Kier at the time, right?
Exactly.
And that was like 21 minutes? 24 minutes or something like that?
Yeah.
It's coming up.
I think it was, 24, 27 maybe.
But remember, we're definitely going to break that record because it's not even about whether first blood has happened or not. It's about an idea. As the arrow is going to connect, Closer makes his way into the background, and oh dear, we may actually get some action as Riftwalk comes in. Umpty's actually going to get dragged back from over the wall. He's trying to get out of first blood, goes to Breon, as into the backline goes the Lord, and he is very upset about all of this killing and shenanigans that's been going on. Realm Warp to come forward as Kyle's in trouble. Karis flashing immediately. It's a double kill for Morgan, the absolute and utter warlord on the Rift. As Closer goes down as well, this Jax is so online, and Bro might take something else on the map. Maybe, are they doing Baron?
I don't know about this one. They do have a decent amount of time here. Whaler is on his way, but I think they might get it, and from nothing, we spring forth into Bro winning a fairly messy fight. They're getting real low though. I am getting worried.
Yeah, Kyle's got an arrow, and he's not going to use it due to the gentleman's agreement from prior. They had one bout, and the bout was successfully taken by Bro, and therefore they are entitled to the Baron. That is the gentleman's agreement of the situation.
And in return, as pointed out, we will now get a Mountain Drake here for Sandbox, who have, outside of Envy, pretty hard wave player. Both Birdo and Closer are required to move into melee range to actually clear anything, and Gold Lead definitely going to accelerate here for Rhea, and all they needed was one fight. That's efficiency, Atlas.
Oh, 100%. They've taken themselves a Baron. They've now got the Split Push King in the Jackson. Let's check it out one more time.
As a lot of damage comes down here, but it is actually really hard to kill or rise this early on. And this funnel is just very tough to deal with. The amount of damage that both Hannah and Karis are able to output in that point in time is simply too big. Closer isn't that strong just yet. And as a result, they don't really have the damage necessary. Birdo, unfortunately, goes down, and without Kael isn't really anything that you can do. As Sandbox, as more turrets now are falling, the peace has been broken, Atlas.
You know what's beautiful? The peace may have been broken, but that Baron was traded for a dragon. Top outer turret was traded for bottom outer turret. Oh, wait. And then there was another outer turret taken on the top side of the map, so it's a slight advantage as far as turrets are concerned.
It's also not nearly enough because there is still Kassadin, who just hit his Seraphs, is about to hit a Rod of Ages, and at level 16 can still be an absolute nanas.
Well, we'll see whether he can get through Morgan, who has a Black Cleaver now put together. Pickaxe on the way as well. Is that going to be Death's Dance, Black Cleaver, and Divine Sunderer? Whoa. Divine Sunderer is an interesting item for Morgan to pick up, because he, of course, is the Divine, and he wouldn't want to sunder himself.
I, for a second, really thought you were going to go into some analysis there. I was caught off guard. I should have known.
There is the fact also that if he gets the item upgraded by Ornn, it turns into Deicide, which is also another thing that he definitely would want, as there is an arrow that's going to save us from this particular point for a moment. It's going to be traded for that Glacial Prison. It's not really going to do anything. Yeah. We could talk more about Morgan, but is there anything else that you'd like to discuss, Chronicle?
We're on 15 out of 16 on the count. Clock's ticking.
True. He did manage to hit that level 10, so Closer just needs one more. Not exactly the speediest of, you know, level 16s for the Kassadin, but still. The game state is one of, what, down about 3,000 gold? Not anything to be worried about whatsoever. Collecting this wave and turret would probably be enough, as Closer's not going to be able to get to the next wave all that comfortably with Karis making his way up. And Karis also, I mean, he is level 16 now. Not exactly as monumental an occasion for the rise.
And what we also saw in the previous fight that we really didn't talk about that much, in a 5v5, as Mandate now finished for KL, I really have been loving the Umbral first, but not going to be the case here for the Ashe. Is that overall, the Sandbox 5v5, while strong, is definitely going to be relying on either Envy or Closer getting a ton of damage off, whereas for Bro, it is just about kiting back. If you can see an angle, obviously you can go for it, but with Hannah going for this on-hit build, and with Morgan as fat as he is, it is actually quite tough, as Closer is, I don't think, gonna hit 16 just yet. Getting very, very close, and they really need that damage. Arrow comes.
Arrow? Oh,
not gonna hit anyone.
it was going very quickly. Pretty exciting, as Morgan leaps onto a rift-walking Kassadin. Therefore, nothing happens whatsoever. Inner turret does fall on the bottom side though, and the Bro lead only continues to increase. This was not the handshake match that I was expecting. I was expecting the Sandbox to just keep butting their heads into the immovable wall.
I am a little disappointed, as, oh, there we go!
Level 16.
Disappointed in Sandbox. I'm not disappointed in Breon. This is who they are.
No, seatbelts are on.
This is
100%
this is what they do. This is their identity. They will never stray away from this, and
we love them for it. We absolutely do. Teleport's going to come forward. Closer is going to rift walk, and then he remembers which game he's in, and he walks back one more time. 20 seconds till the Mountain Drake. That'll be Mountain Salt Point for Bro. It'll also be a second Mountain for Live Sandbox. The more they can stack, the more they can continue to do basically nothing and ignore Bro for the entirety of the game.
Hey, they're about to hit Lord Dominic's on Envy. That's a big spike.
True.
They can also give up this dragon if they don't want to fight. They don't have a lot of control here in terms of vision.
Giving up an objective?
There we go.
Don't mind if I do. As instead, they are moving down. They are going to give up the objective, but is there going to be some sort of fight that happens afterwards? It's Closer. Rune Prison. What are prisons able to be given out here by Bro, as the hook's going to connect there onto Envy. Depth Charge comes through, but Paranoia is going to deny any vision.
Oh, I was a little worried that we were actually going to have some action, but
I know.
Fortunately,
Bro, like, they saw the lights go out and they're like, oh, sorry, yes. No, of course. Let's continue to take things slow.
But the position for Sandbox, we're joking around a lot, but it's pretty bad. With how aggressive Bro have been moving around as a 5-man unit, Sandbox haven't really found anyone in a sideline, for example, which is why the Nocturne can't really shine. And they're straight up 5v5. I think they're a little bit worried about after what happened in the previous game. Also, Closer, even though he has the experience breakpoint in terms of items, isn't really accelerated, isn't really quite there yet. And really like the ultimate from Willow here, because if he doesn't use that, I wouldn't be surprised if Bro is actually able to hard engage on top of Envy there. He did have to use both his heal and his flash. Big cooldown now going for the Saber. Did pick up the Lord Dominic, so at the very least should be able to chew through the front line of Bro a little bit more, but for Sandbox, dealing with this Jax is actually very hard. The only one who really can do that reliably is Closer, and
Jax now has a wit's end.
Yeah, that's what I was what I was getting into.
Yeah.
As my ability to speak is slowly deteriorating as time atrophies and we get closer and closer to whatever is going to be the eventual conclusion of this game.
Yeah. No one knows. That's the grand mystery that is Bro versus Live Sandbox, and why on our Saturday
Sandbox have been so aggressive.
I know, but this is what happens when you're faced with the daunting task of fighting against Bro. As Effort, gonna find Envy once again. Oh, the shield and the combo is beautiful. The Sivir not allowed to play the game. I remember what Nautilus is supposed to do. You press all of your CC buttons on stuff. Beautifully done, Bro. 4 versus 5 now, capable of heading towards the Baron. What can Live Sandbox do about it?
Or do you think they're still taking a risk here? Willer is alive. Turning here is a good call.
Well, Hook is going to go entirely wide for the moment, but Effort, if they wait just a little while longer, is going to have it back available yet again. Bertle goes down, and he's supposed to be a tank. Willer dives into the pit. Can he steal it? The answer's no. As Willer, no, he's still in there. He's still alive, but he's going to die regardless. It was Closer that fell down before. And Bro have just been snowballing extremely slowly. You know, this is like you're watching a snowball, an avalanche or something, come down the mountain, but it's in about 0.6 frames per second or frames per minute. And so it is moving, but you just don't even know until your Nexus is covered in the avalanche or snow or giant snowball or whatever this is. Because Pro are going to win this game, Chronicler. And Kyle is going to get hooked, and he's dead.
Yep. Yep.
You may not like it, but
No, Atlas. No, don't finish that sentence. Don't you dare.
No, it's actually, it wouldn't be correct anyway, because you always like it. It's Bro.
As, unfortunately for Envy, walks way too close to a Nautilus. That type of positioning as Sivir can't afford. If Kyle goes down, you can maybe find an angle in this fight. Sivir's damage is extremely important to this composition actually functioning, so... very nicely done by Bro, as per usual. Yeah, it was very close. I really like their target selection. I like their 5v5 team fights. This is what they excel at. This is what they've done for the last, I want to say 2 years. And the game effectively at this point should be over. The only way that you lose from here on out is if Envy somehow gets to an Infinity Edge, which he shouldn't be allowed to, and then is able to just auto for an entire fight. But like, look at the gold lead. Soul spawning in 20 seconds, so this should be the...
Ooh, stopwatch check as well, Chronicler. There are 4 unbroken stopwatches. Pristine ability to tell the time here on the side of Bro. As Close is going to get hooked. There's the depth charge. He's in the bouncy castle as Willer dives into the backline and explodes. Multiple people just breaking their watches on the ground. And Bro, they don't need them because they know exactly what time it is. It is time to destroy the Nexus of Live Sandbox and head towards game number 2 of this series. Well, I mean, it's not time right now. It's not, but it's soon going to be time. As another hook is going to connect. And Bertle is Cassante. It's almost time. The time is... It's coming up.
Well, Willer is spawning, so maybe we should back up and get Soul, right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Hook is going to connect. As Cassante is dead. Morgan diving forward. Envy. Spell Shield is going to be there, and I think with that kill, it is now time. Bro have told us it's time. And the Nexus goes down. Bro wins game number 1. And I don't think anyone really doubted it.
Not a shred of doubt in any second of that game. It might not be the high-octane League of Legends you watch the LCK for, but it definitely is what you want if you are a Bro leaver. Game number 1 taken here.
That took a lot of my sanity, I think, that game, because I think it's the comparison between the amount of anxiety experienced in our previous series to the amount of not a whole lot of action during this one. Both of these teams pretty happy Just sit back and scale, sit back and scale.
You know how after a big workout you need to stretch and do a cooling down?
Yeah.
We're not cooling down. We went straight to the couch, we put on some Netflix, and we're lounging. And the whiplash is driving us a little insane here for Sandbox. I was envisioning their draft to at least be able to either apply more pressure in side lane. I think they kind of defaulted to trying to 5v5 against a team that does so very, very well. That combined with the positioning mistakes of Envy made the fights really, really tough. And that's really all there was to it. A couple of really nice hooks from Effort and Umti. And maybe we just keep... Everyone else can play their fun things. Just keep putting Effort on engage supports. That's what he always did.
It's Effort's Nautilus, right? Like, this is it's a tried and true strategy. A tale as old as time. Who cares what the meta is, really? Let's just continue to put him on those because it's working out. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space in game number 2.
이거 굴 올려줄게. 카라디 한번 때려봐. 앞라인부터 봐봐. 괜찮아, 우리 괜찮아.
앞라인 좋아.
빨리 빨리지 마.
좋아.
띠비를 노공 애쉬.
미리 바꿔 들어갈게. 끝내러 가자.
야, 카라디 존영 없어.
웨이브 쓰자 얘들아.
나 공 40초. 다음 웨이브 쓰면 돼. 다음
다음 웨이브
웨이브. 탑
쓰면
대포 써. 야, 탑 투대포야, 투대포.
탑이랑 미드. 이랑부터 할게. 탑이랑 미드.
오케이.
큐한테 큐 조심.
오케이.
나는 2타야. 라인 좀 지어줘.
인지.
라인 좀 다 지어줘. 라인 좀. 아직 안 끝났다 얘들아. 집중해라. 드랩 할게.
나 공 20초고
그러네,
이번에
빠졌고.
얘들아 탑타워 치자, 탑타워.
웨이브가 넣어도 끝나 얘들아. 아래 오긴 했어 우리. 웨이브가 넣어도 끝나. 좀 애매하다 이거. 용하는 거 어때? 기다려. 아니야. 바텀 웨이브 더 있어.
바론 15초 남았고 우리.
용으로 가자.
가자.
물렸어 이거. 간다 가죠.
빨면서 해봐. 괜찮아. 싸움.
싸움 이긴다. 누구 나왔어?
얘들아, 타워.
끝내자.
나공 5초고.
타워. 끝내자.
네, 이거 싸움 봐도 돼, 얘들아. 천천히. 이거 끝. 오케이.
나이스.